Good afternoon. This is Anshu Sharma from Government College Chaksu, and today I shall be beginning the poem Elegy Written in a Country Churchyard by Thomas Gray. This is prescribed in the BA Part 2 syllabus of English Literature. I have already given you the introduction in the previous video, and I have talked about Gray's background and what was it that had inspired him to write this elegy. Now, this elegy, written in a country churchyard, was penned in 1751, and it is supposed to be one of the most important and widely read example of the elegiac poetry in the 18th century. And this was particularly inspired when Gray happened to see a village churchyard near his mother's house in England. And the pastoral scene that he observed inspired him to write on death, on the concept of mortality, and the idea of remembering the people who are no longer with us. This poem specifically focuses on England's rural and agricultural society, and throughout the poem, the main thing that Gray emphasizes upon is that how death is a great leveler. It is something where everybody, whether belonging to a high society or belonging to the common people, all of them become one when life ends. And this particular exploration it ends on a personal note, which is called an epitaph. And using the persona of an observer, an old villager, Gray describes himself from a distance and discloses how he hopes to be remembered by creating his own, that epitaph which is written on the tombstone. The poem, which Gray began to compose in 1742 and published in 1751, is considered to be one of the best examples of elegiac poetry in the English literature. And Gray's elegy explores the nature of mortality and also suggests the poet's own view of how he wishes to be remembered. And interestingly, this poem was written in two versions. The first version was written as early as 1742, and that was after his friend's death. In the introduction, also, I had mentioned Richard West, who was a close friend of Gray's, and there is an elegy which was specifically written on his death, and this particular elegy also was written after his friend Richard West's death. And the second version was written around 1748, that was after the death of his aunt, and it was published in 1751. So there is a slight transition from the first version to the second version, and there are major revisions, and notably, there is a shift in the focus at the end of the poem to Gray's own reflections on how the future generations will remember him as a poet. So, this is one of the things that makes the poem very different, and it also shows how Gray is very down to earth, and he considers that the idea or the concept of mortality is one thing that levels, that is the greatest leveler. And elegies are generally poems that center on the death of a specific person. For example, Milton's Lycidas. That was the character Lycidas on whose death Milton had written the poem with the same title. But interestingly, this poem of Thomas Gray is different, because here death is used to explore mortality as a universal experience which mankind must understand and accept. This is a fact that is undeniable, that is permanent, and something which everybody has to face. So elegies are, as in the introduction also I had mentioned, they were, the graveyard poets who had mastered this art, or who were also known as the churchyard poets. And elegies can take any poetic form, but Gray specifically uses the elegiac stanza, which came into style during his time, and which Gray himself perfected. And the elegiac stanza form consists of 4 line stanzas. We'll soon be reading the poem, and you'll see that each stanza has been divided into 4 lines. And they are also known as quatrains, and which are written in the iambic pentameter. Iambic pentameter in detail, I have discussed it in the earlier videos, so I will not be going into it right now. But of course, I'll mention the rhyme scheme. The rhyme scheme that is being followed is ABAB. And iambic pentameter is often considered the most natural English meter. In the case of the elegiac stanza form, iambic pentameter helps the poet create a pensive and stately rhythm that mirrors the topic of this poem. That is, how solemn the concept that is being discussed here is serious, is solemn, and that is highlighted by the use of the stately rhythm. And the idea, the subject is perfectly mirrored by the use of the iambic pentameter. The gently rolling terrain of the country graveyard is reflected in the regularity and sweep of Gray's rhyme scheme, the iambic pentameter that he has used, and it also allows the syntax and sense to blend naturally. So the form is obviously used to make clear sense of the content. And here, because the content is serious, it is pensive, it is sublime, therefore iambic pentameter becomes the natural choice. Elegy written in a country churchyard can loosely be divided into 5 groups of stanzas, because I have mentioned that it is a pretty long poem and it is almost 36 or 37 stanzas in all. And they can be divided into groups because stanzas 1 to 5, they explore the landscape, the background is being explained here in the first 5 stanzas. The country graveyard which he has observed in his mother's village, that its sounds, the terrain, the flora, the fauna, the flowers, the trees growing there, and most importantly, the physical and metaphorical stage on which Gray's meditation will play out. So these first 5 stanzas are basically, you can say, the background which is being set for the poem, for the exploration of the serious idea which is going to follow. Then stanza 6 and 7 briefly but very emotionally describes the familial and the rustic activities, because the scene is that of the village, the background is that of the village. So the simple family life that the villagers experience, that is being described here, and all the rustic activities that take place in a village, which are very common, which are common everyday activities, that are going to be described here. And the term rude forefathers is very striking, and that has been used a couple of times in the poem. And they can no longer enjoy all these simple rustic familial activities because they are no longer alive. So that is what he is going to talk about in these stanzas. Then the major portion, you can say the middle part of the poem, belongs to stanzas 8 to 18. These 10 stanzas, they are, you can say, the most substantial part of the poem, and they are the most sustained discussion of death as the great equalizer of social class, which is obvious, and where Gray explores the contrast between the wealthy classes and the common laborers, because death is something where everyone is equal. All the distinctions that you may have had throughout your lives, they all come to an end, they all finally rest when death arrives. So these 10 stanzas are, you can say, the middle part of the poem, where the central idea, the central concept which Gray has tried to highlight is going to be discussed in detail. Then the stanzas 19 to 23, they center on the village's deceased rustic people and their inherent values as objects of memory. So, all those things which the people hold close, all those things that people value, the common people, that is the villagers, all that is going to be described, all that is going to be discussed in the stanzas number 19 to 23. All those things which are held valuable, which are considered to be of great value by the common people, is going to be talked about in these stanzas. Then you come to the last group of stanzas, that is 24 to 32. Sorry, I had said 36. No, not 36. We have 32 stanzas in all, in the elegy written in a country churchyard, and the stanzas 24 to 32 specifically are the speaker's ideas, or how the speaker wishes to be remembered. Now, the speaker here is, we all must remember, it is the poet himself, that is Gray himself, and he uses these lines, he uses these paragraphs to describe how his poetic life should be remembered, what he did all his life, how he wishes to be remembered, that is being specified in the epitaph. The poem begins by depicting the landscape on which the speaker, the poet, will be beginning his meditation, his thoughts. He's going to discuss that, and it ends with the epitaph of the speaker, again, who is the poet himself. Now, what is an epitaph? Epitaph is a short, it can be a paragraph, or it can be a poem, or a few simple verses that are inscribed on the tombstone. If you have visited a graveyard, you must have observed that over the graves there is a longish stone that is put, and on that stone you have the names of the people who are lying there in the grave. I wish could have got a photograph. Maybe in the next video I'll get you a photograph of the tombstone, and on that the name of the person, when he was born, what exactly he did in life, if he has attained something great, that is mentioned there, or the family simply puts the time period, and they might just put a simple, couple of verses taken from the Bible. So this inscription is known as an epitaph, and that epitaph is extremely important for Gray, because he is going to talk about his journey as a poet, and in that he is going to sum it up. So the epitaph of this poem is extremely important, and which forms the last part of this poem. So we'll be going according to these major divisions that I have just described, but maybe it will not be possible to complete the middle part that I had told you, from 8 to 18 paragraphs. That will not be perhaps possible to finish in one video, but I'll, as far as possible, try to stick to this pattern generally. So I'll just start with the first 4 paragraphs. Here you can see on your screens, I have shared the cover of one of the books which carries this poem, Elegy Written in a Country Churchyard by Thomas Gray. And you can see how rustic, how, the broken architecture is there, and lots of greenery in the background can be observed. So this was the kind of atmosphere which Gray had observed in his mother's village, and then he had penned this poem. Now, with this informal, very short, brief description of the poem, I shall begin with the poem itself. Here now you have it before you on the screens. Elegy Written in a Country Churchyard by Thomas Gray. I have once again, as usual, as my habit is, I have marked all the difficult words in blue, and you can see them. They are quite clear on the screen, so that it is easier for you to understand. I'll quickly read these first 4 paragraphs. The curfew tolls the knell of parting day. The lowing herd winds slowly over the lea. The ploughman homeward plods his weary way and leaves the world to darkness and to me. Now fades the glimmering landscape on the sight, and all the air a solemn stillness holds, save where the beetle wheels his droning flight, and drowsy tinklings lull the distant folds. Save that from yonder ivy mantled tower, the moping owl does to the moon complain of such as wandering near her secret bar molest her ancient solitary reign. Beneath those rugged elms that yew trees shade, where heaves the turf in many a mouldering heap, each in his narrow cell forever laid, the rude forefathers of the hamlet sleep. So, these are the four stanzas that I shall be doing in the next video. For now, just go through the introduction of the poem and also read these four stanzas so that you get an idea, you get the hang of the lyric, you get the hang of the rhyme scheme, and also please go through the word meanings that I have mentioned, because I'll straight away in the next video just get down to analyzing the poem. It is a very profound poem, and personally I like it a lot. So I hope that you are going to like the poem, you'll be able to understand it, and meanwhile just go through these word meanings till the next time. Thank you. Bye bye.